What's up, y'all? Today is another PC Spotlight video, and I'm going to go over some firsts. So I'm going to go over with you some of the cards that I got, like first-time experiences, trades, grading, home run challenge, that kind of thing. A couple from my childhood. And the only one I don't have is the first graded card I ever bought. And I'm just going to tell you about it because I sold it at a loss, and it was a PSA 9 Patrick Mahomes sophomore year card, base optic. I spent $30 on that card. $30. I didn't even buy it off eBay. I bought it off like an auction site in North Texas. And yeah, I mean, value plummeted. Wasn't worth $30 in the first place. Wasn't worth the plastic it was printed or encased in. But hey, we've all been there. We've all made mistakes. I just got rid of it. I had no business in it. I was like, oh, I'm gonna flip it. Well, this was great, and it didn't work out that way. So let's go into a few different things. I'm gonna start early. In my return to the hobby, and I'm gonna talk to you about the first short print I ever pulled. First short print. And you're gonna notice something off the bat. This is not slabbed by a big company. It's because I used to think that grading didn't matter. You know, I was like, oh well, who cares? Like grading is grading. It's not that. DCS think of them as more of like a raw card review. So it's nothing to like hold the value of your cards. But yeah, this was the first short print I ever pulled. I remember it because I was like, oh, that's weird. He's not in the majors anymore. And did a little Googling and found out that this is, in fact, a short print. So that was kind of cool. Probably won't sell that one, especially now, considering, I don't have many Willie Mays cards in my collection. So to have this is kind of cool to me. Then the second one is the first autograph I ever pulled out of a Topps box. I'm going to move my face out of your way here. The first autograph I ever pulled was out of a Series 1 2022 Mega Box, Curtis Terry 1987 autograph. Look, this card is not worth really anything. I think Curtis Terry's not even in the Rangers system anymore. I think he went to the Twins, and then he might not even be in the majors anymore. But it was cool because I remember that moment. I remember opening that box, and this was back when I was just opening packs like for the fun of it. And I would open a pack a day. And so I had this box that came with like 16 packs or something like that. And I remember opening a couple packs, and I'm looking at this card, and I'm like, that looks like someone wrote on it in marker. And I realized, oh, that's an autograph. And I didn't know, I had no idea that they put autographs into packs 2 years ago. I mean, they've done it for years, right? I mean, decades they've done this. Back in the 90s, there were chases for like Nolan Ryan autographed Upper Deck cards, right? But I didn't know how widespread it was. I didn't know what it was part. And that was such a fun realization for me. And autos are a huge part of my collection. So I hold on to that one. It's probably $1, $2 card, but to me it's pretty cool. The third card I want to show you is the card that the first home run challenge card I ever hit. I hit two. I hit a Shohei Ohtani. I sold that one for like $100, something like that. And then I hit this Bo Bichette. I remember checking this in a restaurant in a small beach town in Texas and just getting super pumped because I predicted that he would hit a home run. So this was in 2022. This is a couple years. This is like a year after his sophomore year. So, not a super valuable card. I mean, this is probably a $20, $30 card in a PSA 10, maybe. But it's just cool for me because that was the first time I hit it on the home run challenge. This other card, I'll tell you what, I'll skip ahead. This was a recent pickup for me. I'm not a big trade guy. I've never really... Well, first off, I'm like one of 3 of my friends that does cards. So we don't do a lot of trading. We're all Houston fans for the most part. So, it's just not something that we like actively do. Like, I'm not going to hold... And my one buddy is a Dallas fan. So it's like, I don't have a lot of Dallas cards in my collection. He doesn't have a lot of Houston cards in his collection. So there's really like not a point in us trading. But I did do like kind of a low-end trade, and it was super fun. The guy was really cool, and I gave him a Bo Bichette refractor, PSA 9, and an Ohtani blue parallel, PSA 9. Both, one was prospect, the Bo Bichette prospect, and the Ohtani. So he gave me a Michael Jordan Upper Deck PSA 9. This thing sells for $20 to $30. The Bo Bichette is probably like a $10 card, and the Ohtani is probably a $20 card, maybe less. And so I think it's a pretty fair trade, and I just enjoy, I was in Chicago as a kid, and in the early 90s, right? I mean, that was huge. So I remember buying Michael Jordan cards. In fact, This is the one card that I actually remember going into a card shop and buying as a kid. And it is Michael Jordan's rookie card. And I held onto it. It was in a binder or a top loader for, man, since the 90s. We moved out of Chicago in 97 to do a little stint overseas. And yeah, I held on to this card through multiple moves to and from the Middle East, moves across the country, across the globe, really. And yeah, I pulled this card out when I got back in the hobby. It was a card that I submitted to get grading, and it did not grade well. It it actually what's it called? Rock hard reviewed a lot better than this. It rock hard reviewed at like an 8 or a 9, and so I don't know why it got a 6, but I didn't really know anything about grading, and it's one of those things where this is the card that I remember buying for like $5 back in the 90s, and I'm always going to hold on to it. You know, I mean, it's just going to be a part of my collection, and I'm not going to sell it. Another card that I had since I was a kid, I don't know if this is true for y'all, but my parents and grandparents used to buy us like complete sets of like 89, 88 tops, thinking that those things were going to go to the moon, right? And we'd be able to pay our college with them. Well, that didn't happen. Those things are probably worth about $30 a piece. I held on to mine, or my parents did, and they finally said, hey, come get this out of my house. So I did, and one of them was like open, so I didn't really feel good about selling it, so I opened it, and I pulled I didn't pull. They're all in there. But, a Jose Canseco card. It was in pretty good shape. So I took it to one of his in-person signings, and for $30 and a JSA sticker, $35 total, I got a Jose Canseco autograph, which is pretty cool. And so that's actually in the same slab that the DCS stuff is in, and they just take that certification and stick it in there. I mean, he's a junk wax hero, right? Jose Canseco, pretty cheap auto from like a in-person standpoint. $35. I mean, that's kind of what you would pay for like back pulled stuff. So he's everywhere, but yeah, junk wax hero. And then the other card that I pulled out of a 93 Topps box set was the Derek Jeter. And I got that graded because, he's the kind of the chase in that box. And so I have two of these. I have a PSA 9 and a PSA 8. Yeah, it's not a valuable card. This is probably a $30 card, maybe. The PSA 9 is a little bit better. It's like a $50 card, but it's just cool. I mean, these are stuff. This is from sets that my grandma bought me. I've got a Craig Biggio auto you've seen, I think I've showed you that. And then this was the first card I ever spent over $200 for. This one is a card I'm really excited to have, and it allowed me to get a card in each of his uniforms, each of his pro uniforms, and that is a Nolan Ryan signed 1971 Topps card back when he played for the Mets. So I've got him in a Mets uniform, an Angels uniform, an Astros uniform, and a Rangers uniform. So that's kind of cool. He's my favorite pitcher. Still married to his wife. It's got the Nolan Ryan Foundation sticker on it, so you know that this was sent to his foundation. He signed it and sent it back. It's kind of cool to see how similar the signatures are over the years, right? And I have a bunch of, I have like 5 Nolan Ryan autographs, and it's just he's just a super consistent signer. But he does have a lot of autographs out there. So just keep that in mind. His pack pulled stuff is really cool looking. I love his pack pulled stuff. But yeah, he signs a lot, and that market is pretty saturated. But I think the floor on that is like $100 for a Nolan Ryan autograph. I mean, it's pretty expensive still, considering the volume of autos that are out there. But yeah, these are just some of the firsts that I've had in the hobby. First $200, first trade, first home run challenge, first graded card, first card I ever purchased a single of, and then just cards that are important to me. So I hope you enjoyed this. I like these videos. I like talking to you all about my collection. I'm not a high roller. I'm not going to drop $700, $800 on a card and talk to you about how I've got, one of 2 in existence or something like that. I mean, I've got a few one of ones, but they're like $80 one of ones. We're not talking like $3,000 stuff. So, yeah, just a collector doing his thing. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.